These young people are studying in a new way.
If you look closely, you can find remnants of behavior analysis all over the place. White triangles on the road, behavior analyst. Sesame Street, technologies like closed captioning, this guy right here. Yep. And there's volumes of these stories. Today on the Daily BA, Beth with Operant Coffee and myself bring you a brief overview of the teaching machine and similar technologies. There are more people in the world than ever before, and a far greater part of them want an education. B.F. Skinner, 1968, 50 years ago. And he goes on to say that the demand cannot be met simply by building more schools and training more teachers. I know what you're thinking, right? What about behavioral skills training, the other technologies and tools that are out there? The idea was different. How do you focus on leveraging technology to scale a solution with integrity? Now, if you scour the internet, you'll find that there's a lot of different people, companies, movements to try to meet this demand for people wanting an education. Coursera, edX, the Khan Academy, all these people, what they're trying to do is, like us and like general education, is meet this demand, this thirst for knowledge that society has. And this line of thinking actually goes back into the roots of behavioral psychology and starts with B.F. Skinner and the many people who shared his ideas on the future of what education could be and could mean for society. So what's the alternative? Enter the teaching machine. This is actually a patent that you can go out and find. It's linked down below, explaining back in 1962 when it was first filed what the idea was, what the concept really was. And the basic gist was that if behavioral science could understand why we do what we do, then maybe we could take that, leverage it with technology, and build this behavioral technology that would meet the individual needs of a student where they're at without needing teacher intervention to occur at a one-to-one model. So therefore you could scale the teacher. Kind of sounds like some of the websites we mentioned, right? Now in behavioral science, this vision kind of slipped away. There were some that really focused on it, and we'll talk about some of those resources and who that was in a minute. And there was rollouts in a few different places, juvenile systems and the military were too. But for the most part, you can only really see the remnants of what's left through little similarities here and there with these different companies or the different technologies that are out on the market. Nothing with the true, intent of what it was originally. So there are 4 links that I'm going to ask you to go check out. First one is this book, The Technology of Teaching. It's linked straight on the B.F. Skinner Foundation's website. Proceeds go straight back to them. Nothing on this channel. The second one being a teaching machine paper by B.F. Skinner. I've linked it. It may be harder to access. The third one, The Technology of Teaching Revisited with Beatrice Barrett. She was one of the few that carried this sort of line of thinking and movement forward. And lastly, Beth with Operant Coffee. She is a woman in behavior analysis with not one but 2 different companies trying to push the bar forward in a number of different ways. I've linked her blog down below. She's the one that gave me this idea and said we should work on partnering to bring this together. So thank you, Beth, for the idea and pushing me. Now, if you're into this, and only if you're into this, please do us a favor, share the message, spread, hit that like button, send that comment, tag somebody, spread it to another group. The goal of this is to work with each other to be able to spread the larger behavioral message that is behavior analysis impacting the world on a large scale. The vision here is that all of us together can move these messages forward and help make an impact positively in the world. And don't forget to leave a comment down below telling us how you see the technology of teaching and this teaching machine being able to impact the world as you see it.
He and the student are constantly interacting.
All right, if you're new around here, here's what you're gonna do, all right? You are going to subscribe here. You're going to click this if you want the video that's probably most relevant for you that I've created in the past. And then over here, this is where you're gonna click for the most recent upload. So this is the freshest, and this is what you're probably gonna dig most. All right, peace.